Hello, hello, YouTube family. What a wonderful day it is here in Houston, H-Town, Texas. I have a wonderful guest for us today. I've been trying to get this gentleman for a while. He's busy, and I can understand why, and you will too when I introduce him. But we got him today, and some of my good friends from my arch rival are going to be happy because they're always getting on me when you're going to do the Prairie View thing. So we got the Prairie View working today. But quickly, because I'm going to let Coach have most of the time or all of the time today, I'm going to make about 3 announcements what's going on. And then we're going to jump right in to Coach Bubba McDowell at Prairie View A&M University. So to get things rolling, before we get started, I want you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it with some friends.
I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Rose Gold Deluxe Spa, Womack Development Company and Realtor, and Morgan and Associates Dental.
Okay. I wanted to announce that Mississippi Valley State University has hired the first female assistant coach in basketball there. I think that's a great honor there for that young lady to be named. Her last name is Totten. Now, I don't know if she's any kin to Willie Totten, the great quarterback that played at Mississippi Valley, but her name is Totten. And George Ivory, the head basketball coach at Mississippi Valley, has hired her, and he said it has nothing to do with her being a female. She played at UAPB when he coached there, and he says he can remember her always asking questions, and she wanted to be a coach. And so he hired her on her abilities, not just a novice to be a female assistant coach. Moving on, and this is something I'm going to ask Coach McDowell. During the SWAC Media Day, Coach Prime Deion Sanders came up with an idea that I had discussed with some other people once before that said that the logistics of it may not work. But as we see the landscape changing in NCAA football, for instance, UCLA and USC are on the West Coast, have joined the Big Ten that is in the Midwest. So it looks like no state is too far for other conferences. And what I'm leading up to is a super conference in HBCUs, the MEAC and the SWAC. And I'm going to get Coach McDowell's opinion on it. Deion is already on board for it. And I thought it was a good idea, but I'm going to let Coach, explain what he thinks. So without any further ado, I am going to introduce to you people Coach Bubba McDowell from Prairie View A&M University. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Okay, Coach. What I want to ask you before I go off into some background on you for the listening audience that may not be aware of who you are and where you came from, so to speak, from the coaching ranks. What was your first thought? How did you feel when Prairie View actually called you back to say you the man? Because I'm sure you've applied for head coaching positions before. So did you think that here we go again? Or once you got the nod, how did you feel, Coach?
Well, honestly, I've never applied for the head job. I was just I was put in the position as the interim head coach when Willie Simmons left, and then when Coach Dooley left as well. But I never applied for the job until after Coach Dooley left. And again, I didn't want to do that. As I always tell my guys, make sure you are ready to go when you step into a role like this, or any role, really any important role. So I wasn't ready back then, but I felt that I was ready to go at this point.
Okay, so you answered the next question I was going to ask you. Why didn't you, Coach? Because like I said, I'm going to tell the listener orders. I remember Coach McDowell way back in his TSU days. For all you PVites that think I'm a hater, I remember Coach when he was at TSU. So, Coach, you felt like you weren't ready, but at this particular moment you did.
Yeah, exactly. And again, when I say ready, just more the administrative side of it. Again, I've been coaching football, for a while. Like you said, I started at TSU there for 6 years. I actually volunteered 4 years. My first 4 years when Alonzo Highsmith got me,
Right, Coach Highsmith.
with Bill Thomas, and then from there, Steve Wilson came in, went over to U of H for a year with Coach Browse, and then back to high school for a year at Willow Ridge, and then boom, got the call from Coach Heights Northern to come up here, and I've been here ever since. Again, it was just more the administrative side of learning what to do or not to do before I jumped into it.
So, does it help you being from a major university, University of Miami Hurricanes, where that program has like other major programs, has a particular way they do things and things that the kids are accustomed to? Did you feel like that was not a negative for you to be able to attract kids to Prairie View? Now, Prairie View has changed. Prairie View has magnificent facilities right now. But yeah. I mean, can match anybody. It just may not be as big as the major university, where they may have 1,000 square feet on something. You guys may have 500, but your facilities are modern and excellent. Did you not see that as a deterrent for recruiting kids and like, do I want to do this here or not?
No. I've always said I want to do it. And again, I tried my luck, should I say, with the NFL. And I interned for several teams. Like I did internship 5 times. And at that point, the last time with the Texans, I decided, this is not for me. This is what I'm going to do going forward was, again, be at the HBCU. And actually, I initially said, I really want to just stay on the high school level. But jumping into TSU and then jumping over to a U of H. And then when I got down to Willow Ridge, after leaving U of H for a couple of years, I said, this is exactly what I want to do. Then I got the call from Heights. I said, you know what? Willow Ridge was going through some things at that particular time. That's what kind of, springing me forward. That's why I decided to go to PV at that particular time, because I didn't know what the outcome was going to be with Willow Ridge at the time. And, and then going forward, I was like, you know what, hell, man, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to kind of stay right here on the, I don't care if it was at PV, back at TSU or Mississippi Valley, I want to kind of stay within this realm of HBCU.
That is such a positive to hear from someone that has a background that you have, that, hey, I've jumped off into the HBCU arena and it hasn't scared me or deterred me from not wanting to stay in it. People always from the outside looking in see all the negatives. They don't see the pluses of you. The majority of our kids, and I don't want to be negative, may not make the NFL, but the lessons they learn from guys like you, Coach McKinney, Coach Dooley, I think are just as valuable as Coach Saban at Alabama.
Absolutely. And everybody has different teaching. And it's funny you mentioned, because I used to tell guys when I first got here, I said it when I was at TSU, but then when I kind of went through that phase with Browse and kind of saw how things were ran on that level as opposed to TSU. And I used to tell guys, one of the questions I used to always get, like, man, what was it like over there at a bigger school? And I'm like, dude, I had better players at TSU than I had coaching at U of H at that time. Right. I said, athletically, I said, I promise you that. And I always tell guys, Chris Dishman, and I said it a long time ago. I said, man, you guys need to, if you're not doing anything professional, you ex-professional guys need to give back to these guys. Because again, going out recruiting, and again, it's not a knock on coaches, but I was seeing things from this level of coaching on the college level differently, when I was at the high school level, because it's like they wasn't getting the proper teaching. Again, everybody do their own teaching, how they want to do it. I used to tell guys, man, if y'all can come give back, jump into this teaching, these schools with these young athletes. Because again, you guys got more to give, and they know where you've been, how you've done it, and their aspiration is to get to the next level. Who better to teach these guys than those that, again, that have been successful. Again, we have guys on the level, again, that play professional ball again, but again, some of those guys even don't know how to teach football. You know, they can just play it just off athletic ability, but there are a whole bunch of guys that was able to teach it, should have been teaching. I should say, man, y'all need to, if at some point, come back, you know, and teach these young men how to get to the next level if they have that athletic ability.
And what I like about what you just said is that giving back. Athletes have to understand. See, that was somebody that you emulated when you were young.
Yes.
Starting in high school. I can remember the guy I tried to emulate in high school. Then he went off to college, and I said, he went off to college, so I'm going to college. And you know, and they just don't understand the magnitude of the presence that you have with young kids. And what we do is, as I just try to tell my kids, my own kids, you know, I shot for the moon, wanted to be a professional athlete, but I fell amongst the stars. I got a college degree, made a pretty good living. And so these are the things that you guys instill. Now, I'm sure you heard from every one of your ex-teammates from the Hurricanes when you got the, because looking from the outside in again, it looks like y'all just have a wonderful family. When I say you all, I mean the ex-players from University of Miami. Is it still that way? I know when you guys were there and you all left, you all always came back. Is it still that way there?
It's still that way, man. And nothing has changed with us, though. We got our own little chat group, man, that we continuously chat with each other about everything that's going on with the Canes, you know, with life itself. You know, we just constantly chatting and communicating with one another. You know, there's one thing, you know, that we got a little upset as a group, as a Miami alumni, was the fact that at some point they decided not to bring us back. You know, standing on those sides. I said, guys, you guys don't realize how we love the University of Miami. I think we're probably one of the first group of guys, you know, with the Alonzo Highsmith, the Melvin Brad, and Jerome Brown come back, you know, with the Michael Irvin come back. And I said, dude, you see about 50 guys on the sideline because they love what the University of Miami stands for. And they're trying to make sure that, you know, the program continues to flourish. As although, you know, we hit a downward spiral at one point, I said, but dude, we never lost that contact with each other. And I think it's on the rise again.
Are you instilling that in the Prairie View players?
Absolutely, as much as I can, trying to teach them, you know, what we learned in Miami, how we went about things, you know. And like I told guys, you know, I said, dude, you know, even in Miami, we had our issues on and off the field, but the one thing that we did is stay within the locker room. Jimmy Johnson always used to preach that: stay, whatever we do, talk about, let us stay in the locker room, let us figure it out ourselves.
Okay. Now we're going to jump into your actual team. I see that, you know, when Dooley left, and by the way, family, I talked off camera to Coach McDowell. I don't want to take credit for it, but go to episode 8, time 428. And as they were looking for a coach at Prairie View, I happened to say, I don't know who they're looking for. Or what they're looking for, but they got a guy right there on campus that's got all type of experience and that I feel like should get that job.
Prairie View is in the mix for a coach right now. Their interim coach is Bubba McDowell, a former player here with the Houston Oilers and played at the University of Miami. He's paid his due. I think that, you know, it's time for Bubba McDowell to get a look to see if he could be a head coach in the swag. I remember him coaching here at TSU.
And I told Coach this as we were coming on air, and I'm going to send him the episode so he can see I did not make this up. And you guys go check it out too. And I'd be darned if the next week they named him head football coach. So I don't know if that was my aura coming out for you, Coach, or not, but I don't think it was. I think they actually saw what they had. I think they saw what they had, Coach.
Or not, whatever it may be. I'm glad, you know, President.
You say
heard that spirit of yours, you know, without we heard that spirit, you know, and they acted on it.
All right, now, Coach, you got almost a practice, whole new coaching staff. Can you just name which one and what position they coach and what their status and where you got them from?
Yeah, well, majority of my guys are from the old staff, actually. Our offensive coordinator. Yeah, they actually left with Coach Dooley, then they came back. And I actually called me and Coach Dooley talked about it. He said, "Hey, man, do what you got to do, to be successful over there." And he was okay with me talking to the guys. So coming back was Mark Frederick, who was our offensive coordinator. This is his first year as an OC. Ashton Green was here with us once before, went to Alabama State. Now he's back coaching the O-line. Okay. And tight end, Marcus Bradley was with us as well, left and went to a D2 school. Now he's back coaching the running backs. Keith Auger is our GA. Coach, we make him do everything as a GA.
Okay. Graduate assistant, you got to earn your spurs, baby.
Reggie Moore brought Reggie back. He was with us under Coach Simmons. Went out to Colorado State and then brought him back. Reggie has a lot of ties here in the area. Plus, he's a Madison High School graduate. Coaching wide receivers. On the defense, we got Coach Middleton, Todd Middleton. He's the DC. He's coaching the D-line.
He knew.
I know he's from the old staff as well. Yeah.
I must have got your wrong information. For some reason, I thought you had new coach. They said, "Man, he got practically whole new coaches." Maybe they weren't aware, the person that told me that, weren't aware that you got 4 of them back.
Yeah. So Coach Middleton, let's say he's the DC. He's the only one that didn't go with Coach Dooley. He stayed here while I was the interim head coach at that time. So he's coaching the D-line, also the DC. Jonas Jackson from Delaware State, he's a new guy. Brought him in from Delaware State. He's going to also help out with the D-line. Then we got Ryan Burton, who was here also. Brought him back. He's coaching the safeties and the nickels. And right now, I'm going to probably be coaching the corners until I get my other corner coach in probably within the next couple of weeks.
Coach.
And also, Coach Osserman, who's coaching the linebackers. Which is our nucleus of the defense.
Sorry for interrupting you. I was just going to throw a little joke in. I was like, dang it, I thought your DC coach was the defensive coordinator was gone because you guys been tough and on the defensive side for the last 4 years. So I was like, dang, they just let the defensive coordinator get away. We might have him chicken. Man, you kept him. So did he go and come back or he stayed the whole period?
He stayed. Well, he wasn't actually the coordinator. Henry Miller was the coordinator. He excuse me. He went with Coach Dooley because they're from that area, so they were fun. But Coach Middleton, who was the assistant D coordinator, so I actually made him full-time DC here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Now, let's go off into your quarterback position. Now, you say, okay. I saw who you took to the SWAC media. So I guess he's leading right now. Anything could change, once practice start, anybody could. But so the kid from Duncanville right now is in the number 1 position. Who do you have behind him?
Chris Scott right now. Chris Scott from Jones JC Junior College. And Chris can get it done as well. He just got to do a little bit more learning the system. And did pretty good going into spring. But again, just Trezon, again, he's 7-1 as a starter. So that gives him the upper hand. He went back home to Duncanville area and man, he worked his butt off, came back, and he looks really, really good. I mean, just learning the offense. I mean, to the point where Coach Frederick has given him, a little free, not much, but just a little bit of freedom to change the offense during the course of the play on the field. And
as a coach, I'm sure that's what you like to see players go to the next level without being told. Those are the great ones. They don't have to be told hey, you need to improve on this. Absolutely. You can see it without even telling them to do it.
But again, you want those guys to be that coach out there on the field. And kids listen to us as coaches all day long, but who they respect more is their peers, those guys out there getting it done with them.
Now, I looked at this and I cringed. Because as you say, as I told you, I'm a TSU guy, but I looked at it and I like, my God, they got 15 players back. They got 15 players back, coach. Coach, what happened? I mean, you got something to work with, coach. I don't want to put no pressure on you. You got a little something to work with the 15 players. Now, Dumas, was that a situation where you played 4 years and you have to transfer, or was that just something he wanted to do?
Yeah, it was just something, I think it was just something he wanted to do. Again, he and I talked about it real briefly, and again, it caught me by surprise but at that particular time, I didn't want to hold this young man here if he didn't want to be here. So no. He went back home with where his mom and where he's happy at.
Oh, he's from Baton Rouge.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, that's it right there. That's right there. And then plus with Coach Dooley. He would say, I want to go to Baton Rouge. Come on. That's all he had to do is say, come on. Now, I'm sure you got someone going to fill that hole. Give me your defensive line on how many starters you got on your front four? Do you run a 3-4?
We do both. We start off in the four-man front. Jesse Evans, came off a great year, returning local kid, Kevin Victorian as well returning, Troy James, another returner, and Dante Carter. Those are big four right there across the front. And we got some dudes coming in. Again, we missed out on a couple of Power 5 dudes that we almost had, but for the first time, we got 3 deep across the board. At all 4 positions. We've never had that before. So that's going to give us a lot more leeway to do some things we haven't done in the past.
Coach, I'm excited to talk to you, but don't ruin my morning, Coach, like that, telling me you're too deep already. You I got my maroon on, Coach. You already had a hell of a defense. Now you're too deep. My God. Now, what about your linebacking crew? How many returning and so forth?
Oh well, that's our crew there. I mean, I would say probably of the whole defense, that's the boom squad. It's Coach Fosselman, Coach Rock. We call them the boom squad. And they can get out there. Now we got one coming back off the ACL. He's a Shadow Creek kid from Shadow Creek, Jeremiah Harris. So we're expecting him to come back ready to go. And he was having a heck of a year until he tore the ACL. And he's actually went to Kansas, and then was at Kansas State, but then transferred into us. And then has several good games before he hurt that knee. So he'll be back, hopefully 100%. Trey Green, again, he's one of the young men that I had at SWAC Media this year. Trey has the potential of going to the next level. I mean, with his body size, that the kid can run. He probably runs, coming out of high school as a linebacker, he ran like a 10-9, 10-8. So he's going to be one of those kids, again, that's going to step it up another notch. You got Warren Schenkel, another kid from Shadow Creek, who's coming off a pretty good year. Very, very, very football savvy. I mean, he don't, people look at him and they would say, just looking at his body.
Right.
You wouldn't think that, but dude, when I tell you this young man has football instincts, is out of this world. So getting him back is going to help because he got hurt as well about midway through the season and never really recovered properly. So getting him healthy is going to be big for us because again, that I think that for sure that is our nucleus back there. Should I say in the middle with those linebackers?
Okay, now your secondary.
Secondary, veteran Logan Jackson coming back for his last year. Logan has to. I think he has a lot of potential. He has a lot of potential. Finished up pretty good last year. Not what he wanted to. I mean, again, like I told them for the last 2 years, I told them guys back there, I said, look, man, at some point, we got to catch all these 15 drop passes that are in the that we dropped the last 2 years. I said, dude, think about it, y'all. If we catch all those passes, or half of those passes, we'll be in the top 10 in football, man. So, yeah, I'm trying to get them, get these hands right, catch it, get these turnovers, and we're gonna be okay. But he's definitely a young man that's gonna be ready to go. Expecting big things out of him this year.
Mr. Womack is the broker and president and CEO of Womack Development Investment Realtors, a private minority-owned full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage firm. Over the years, he has been known to be a respected community businessman and partner and has received many awards. Now, he sells real estate everywhere, but his specialty is right here in 3rd Ward. This guy can get it taken care of for you. We're gonna go over your offense right quick. Your offensive line, how many your returning offensive linemen you have?
You got everybody: Kobe Lewis, Aaron Taylor, Jordan Johnson, Chance Jones. So we're pretty big across the board there. Again, we haven't been that big, from tackle to tackle in a minute. So, but again, we got I think 7 of those guys returning. So, and again, we're too deep on that end as well.
Look at you, coach, just ruining my day. Okay, that is nice. Wide receivers, because you guys have a 4 receiver set, right?
Yes, sir.
So you got any coming back or
any
going to stand out and play for you at wide receiver?
Yeah, we're hoping for sure. Jalen Howard got a little time last year, and I think he's going to actually, turn it on this year very fast. He's a kid from Willow Ridge. I'm sorry, from Elkins. I'm sorry. Okay. Walk on. He's on full money now because of what he's done very fast. And Trezon Spiller, who came in, played as a true freshman from Killeen. This young man, I think, is going to turn it up this year. Xavier Johnson from Temple drafted. We brought him in as a freshman. Had good years up until the year before last year, right after the COVID year, and tore his ACL, and now he's just kind of nursing it back. Got back, but it wasn't quite 100%. But I think he's ready to go this year. So we got some dudes on the edge. Micaiah Metcalf, Eric Metcalf's son, coming in, very long, can run, can go up and get the ball. So we're expecting him to come in and help us out as well.
You've called off some high schools that have winning tradition. Is that important to you when you go out and look for kids?
Absolutely. You got to go to the schools that have winning tradition. Because again, those are the young men that's going to come into your program and give information to those that probably didn't know how to win on the high school level. Because again, as a winner, if you're a winner in high school, you're going to be that same winner, the same mentality when you get to the next level. And that next level is college for them. And again, we're hoping and praying that they come in and do well on this level. And again, teach it to other guys that haven't been in position to win championships. And like I said, when we got a lot of them, we got a lot of kids from Shadow Creek right now.
Yeah, I was noticing that. And a lot of times your players don't have to be vocal. They can just see a guy work. They can say, man, that guy is the star. And if he's working like that, I got to work like that. Coach, I don't accept anything less. If he, say for instance, when Dumas was there, if they see Dumas over there still working after y'all to finish practice, it's kind of hard for you to go in the locker room when your star is still working.
Absolutely. And you say that was a prime example right there, because that young man, again, no matter what happened, what time of the year, the day, he was getting it in. And again, it wasn't a big vocal guy at all. But again, you know as well as I know and others know, when he's on the field, it's totally different. It's ball game time. Right.
And that's the kind of players you want, Coach.
Exactly.
Let me now give the listening audience a little background on Coach. Coach is originally, I think you were born in Georgia and moved to Florida. Is that right, Coach?
Fort Gaines, Georgia. Yes, sir.
Okay, and then moved to Florida. Then he attended University of Miami, where he became a part of a national championship team. And here we go back to that winning. When you win, you just win. And then when he got drafted by the Oilers, I was like, happy, because I'm a UAM fan. I still am now, even with all through the losing over the few. I'm a Laker fan, so I'm always just wait the next year, So I'm always wait the next year, because I'm a fan. And so as soon as they got you, Coach, I was like, okay, we're going in the right direction. And I'd be that blasted family if he stepped right in, was all rookie, then became all pro. So this gentleman right here also not only on the field acquired his business degree in management. Did I get that right, Coach?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. You did.
So what you have here, Coach, I feel like the players also have to show the way, but the coaches too, when they can relate to, see, they can relate to you. You've been to where they're trying to go. Even in our heads, we may not make it, but that's where we want to go, is to the next level of pro.
Yep.
And when we don't make it, that's okay. One more time, when you shoot for the stars, you fall, shoot for the moon, you fall amongst the stars. And so
Right.
I'm sure your players, your DBs come up to you and ask you, Coach, how did y'all do it? Or do you just automatically show them how some of the drills they do in NFL?
Automatically show them, because again, and it's just my nature doing, because before I even jumped into coaching, that's what I was doing. I was training guys for agents and getting them guys ready to go, like Daniel Manning at the time when he came out, getting those guys ready for their pro days, and then some of the kids up for their upcoming season. So it's just automatic for me to show it to them, show them how I did it, how we did it. Again, some of the stuff that I told them I would been lucky to be around, programs, winning programs from high school all the way up to where I am right now, to the highest level, pro level. I mean, although we never won that big game with the Oilers, we was always in the playoffs,
In the mix, because you had guys that won, Warren, you, I can't even call up everybody else, but you had guys that were winners there. And it does make a difference.
Big difference. I tell guys, I would talk about Nick Saban. My first 2 years, I was under Nick Saban. It taught me a lot.
Okay, Coach, I want to ask you a question that I brought up to the listening audience when we first brought you in. Give me your thoughts on it. Give me your honest opinion now. The MEAC plus the SWAC. Do you think that's something that's viable?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it'd be very viable. Again, we are competing pretty much for the same, same guys, same athletes, and again, I think if we continue to do that and build these big conferences like the big boys are doing, I think it's just going to help the HBCU, because again, now you're going to see that these young men are going to see now, should I say that, again, it's not just an individual conference that they can go to and try to shine. Now it's like, and I'm going to say like the SEC, where you got the big boys, the big Power 5 guys. And if we can do that on our level, I really believe, as you alluded to earlier, Deion saying, dude, we can get a lot more competitive if we get this thing done.
I totally agree. I actually way back said, before Coach Prime brought it up, Leonard Moon and some other people we were talking to, I was like, and some guys would say the logistics of it. I say, do you think that Michigan is going to go to California every year? No. Do you think the SEC with their 16 teams, everybody play each other? No, they're just part of the conference. That's all that it is. They're part of the conference. And I think it would be very viable. You got Florida now that the SWAC would go into and be able to get their players. Just like the MEAC would be able to come into Texas and get some of their players. And because that's what they be thinking about. That's what they all be thinking. These big companies, well, let's get a school in Texas. They all want schools in Texas. They all want schools in Texas, so they can come.
Texas, you got Florida, you got California, and some of the other cities. But I mean, those three big boys. You got the big boys from California, the quarterbacks, the old linemen. Texas. You got the speed. Florida,
Louisiana, and Florida. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm like you, Coach. I think that would be a big thing. And this leads me into this. Family, I have been telling everyone, and I'm going to do it again. I did it on the other coach's show. There is no reason in the Houston area that we don't fill the stands for. Fill the stands too. That's something personally I just thought of last year. I called it Fill the Stands. So I'm going to call it Fill the Stands too. Prairie View sits anywhere between 15,000, 16,000 people. There's no reason why one side should not be purple and gold, coach, and the other side maroon and white. I know you don't want to hear that, but I'm sure you would like all of it to be purple and gold, but I would like for one side to be maroon and white and the other side be filled with purple and gold. There's no reason why we shouldn't. You're going to have two excellent football teams. You're going to have the Marching Storm. You're going to have the Ocean of Soul, a beautiful campus at Prairie View. Hopefully, we'll be able to allow to do the tailgate and the whole 9 yards. I used to tell people when I was trying to get them to come to the games at TSU, just bring your kids, let them listen to the band. They'll be just happy, coaches, listening to the band, having a wonderful time. But my honest for this is I want to see us fill the stands for the Labor Day Classic, September the 3rd in Prairie View, Texas. There's no reason why we shouldn't have that done. Coach, before I leave, do you have any remarks for the PV Nation on letting them know what you guys, what direction y'all headed and what you're planning to accomplish?
Well, again, just for PV Nation, guys, you guys, I love you guys. We've had here a lot of support since I've taken over at the head position here. PV Nation has been overwhelming, just poured in thoughts, things that I needed to get done to build this program to where I wanted to go. And again, I'm just thankful for you guys standing behind me. Again, I just want to reiterate what you're saying, going forward. Again, it's not about just filling the stands for the Labor Day Classic. Guys, when we go out and we fill these stands or we got a overwhelming number, even if we don't fill the stadium, but if we got a big number, this is where these TV contracts come in, because this is what these networks want to see is us in the stands, rooting your team on each and every weekend. And again, I say if we can do that as a family, at any HBCU, I mean, time is right. Right now is where we're in a position where we can do that with each other, no matter whether we're on the road or at home. Let's travel, like Southerns, like the Alcorns, like the Grambling. Let's do that, support your team. Again, it may not be where you want to be at that particular time, but I promise you, if you stay behind a lot of these good coaches that are in the SWAC right now, I think things are going to change. I promise you.
I agree with you, Coach, wholeheartedly. I push our schools, TSU and Prairie View, but you'll see during the course of the season, if you watch the program, that I tell everyone, if you are in the vicinity of HBCU college and it's game day, go. If it's your first time, trust me, it won't be your last time if you go to an HBCU game. You're just going to love the festivities, and it's going to be wonderful. It's like, and before I leave you, and I said at the last show, it's like Dion made mention of how he get Travis Hunter. He said because those D1 schools let him come to a Jackson State homecoming, and he saw 60,000 Black people, something he'd never seen before. And he thought, hey, I'd like to be part of this. And so PV Nation, TSU Nation, Alcorn Nation, Southern Nation, Grambling Nation, when you come to the stands, you never know who's there. It may be a kid that's looking at University of Michigan, but he comes to our game and he sees the festivity. He doesn't see 60,000, but he sees the stand packed with 17,000. He's going to like that.
Absolutely. And we always say, last thing, and we always say, if we can get them on campus here at PV, we got a 95% chance, or let me say 85% chance we can get them.
Now, you are arch rivals, but you're absolutely correct that Prairie View family has a wonderful facility up there. We won't work toward getting the same thing here, but Prairie View has a wonderful facility in Prairie View. And this is what I'm saying. If you come to the game, you will be thoroughly satisfied. Coach, I want to thank you for allowing us to some of your time. I know it's valuable. Oh, when are you guys going? When are they going to report? When are your players?
They reporting today. We getting it going right now.
Okay.
All the kids are trickling in right now, housing, and getting everything done.
When's your first day you hit?
First day of hitting. We actually start the 4th, but our first day of hitting will be Thursday of next week.
Thursday next week. Coach, I want to wish you good luck, only until you play Texas Southern. but I am so happy for you because I felt like you were ready. And
appreciate you, my brother.
So much, Coach.
Thank you.
Don't forget if there's anything I can do to help you with the show, bringing a player on or
Okay.
whatever, because some kids are from California and their parents may not get to see them. You're welcome to come on the show, and they can always go to YouTube and see their kids.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. So thanks for reminding me. I think that'd be really good for going forward for a lot of these kids.
Okay. All right.
Learn from it too.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Coach. And I look
Thank you.
forward to seeing you September 3rd. I will be there.
Yes, sir.
All right, then.
God bless.
All right. Family, I want to thank you for tuning in. We had a wonderful show. Don't forget to go to fatlarrypodcast.com. Get your t-shirts. Go to fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up. Let me know what we should be discussing and what we should be talking about. Thank you again. Peace out.